You may be in the pit. You do not see how you could get out. But the good news is that you do not have to get by yourself. The Most High God is about to lift you out. He's about to turn the medical report. He's about to free you. He's about to open new doors, bringing new opportunities, new relationships.
Kupata The Pit, bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash.
It is the 21st of August 2020, this Friday, that 288 people recovered from COVID-19. And of course, the number of those that have recovered from coronavirus is now over 18,000. Some good news there, with about 31,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19, 162nd day since the first COVID-19 case was reported in the country. And the curve is still not looking good. The Minister of Health says that it is expected to be deepening beginning December all the way to February. And that is the latest on COVID-19 update. Tell us where you're watching us from at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag is Channel 1 Weekend. Let's first have a look at the news highlights tonight.
Hii formula ilitolewa na wale watu wa SRC. Si imeenda Senate kusema watu wagawe pesa kwa njia ya haki. Kila mtu apate haki.
President Uhuru Kenyatta absolves the executive from wrangles at the Senate over the revenue sharing formula. Senators allude a well-orchestrated scheme at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority to conceal alleged theft of 43 billion shillings meant to boost COVID-19 fight in the country.
Our male population again continues to be greatly afflicted when it comes to fatality, with about 386 of them being male.
And the Minister of Health says men are at a greater risk of COVID-19 infection as 322 new cases are reported in the last 24 hours. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Purity Museo, and Simon Karodha is our sign language interpreter tonight. President Uhuru Kenyatta has defended the executive from the wrangles at the Senate over the revenue sharing formula, saying it was proposed by the Commission on Revenue Allocation and has nothing to do with the executive. President Uhuru instead has called on leaders to shun from politicizing the revenue formula and find a solution where equity and fairness shall prevail, a move supported by Deputy President William Ruto, who said magnanimity must prevail and no county should feel disadvantaged by any method agreed upon.
As the 12-member committee looking into the controversial third criteria of sharing revenue is yet to announce its resolution, the executive arm of government has denied meddling in the revenue formula standoff.
Mi si pesa ya Uhuru ati watu waseme Uhuru ame... Hii formula si ilitolewa na wale watu wa SRC. Si imeenda Senate kusema watu wagawe pesa kwa njia ya haki.
Speaking at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, President Uhuru Kenyatta insisted that the crucial revenue sharing parameters are set out by the Commission on Revenue Allocation and not the executive.
Kila mtu apate haki. Kwa nini mwananchi wa Nairobi ati kwa sababu inasemekana ati Nairobi ni mji tajiri, wewe ambao unaishi Embakasi na Korogosho bado unafunga choo kwa karatasi, lakini unaambiwa wewe ni tajiri, huna haki ya kupata pesa. Ukweli na haki utajitokeza, na mimi sitapigana, na mimi sina na mabishano na mtu yeyote.
Sentiments echoed by Deputy President William Ruto, who urged the Senate committee to come up with a formula that cannot divide the country.
We have all agreed it is a constitutional requirement that we review the formula at this point in time, but as we review that formula, we must ensure that we move the country together.
While addressing a delegation of elders and leaders from Bungoma and Trans Nzoia counties at his Sugoi Om in Uasin Gishu County, Ruto said Senate has the requisite leadership and wisdom to reach a consensus that takes into account all the parameters to balance between the populous and disadvantaged counties.
We should make sure that these areas that are largely arid are not disadvantaged by a huge margin, that the losses and the gains should be moderated so that we can move together as a country.
His sentiments were shared by Nyandarua Governor Francis Kimemia and Kuru Deputy Governor Dr. Eric Korir, who called for equity and fairness in revenue allocation, claiming activities in devolved units have stalled.
So I would like to request the Senate, please don't play politics with that formula. Be patriotic, be led by the national interest, look at the populations, give money to the people.
Please pass what is right for Kenya. Let's correct the problems that we have had in before so that we have equity in the regions that we come from.
The development coming as Narok Senator Ledama Olekina hinted of a breakthrough very soon. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
A joint Senate committee investigating the alleged loss of 43 billion shillings from the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority says it will not hear submissions from any official of the parastatal until suspended Chief Executive Officer Jonah Manjari honors summons. On Friday, Manjari failed to appear before the Senate Health Committee and the Ad Hoc Committee on the COVID-19 situation amid reports that he was hospitalized. Senators claim there is a well-orchestrated scheme at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority to conceal the alleged theft of funds meant to boost the COVID-19 fight in the country.
The Senate Health Committee and the Ad Hoc Committee on the COVID-19 situation had summoned suspended Kenya Medical Supplies Authority CEO Jonah Manjari and two other top KEMSA officials to shed more light on allegations of financial impropriety at the parastatal. However, Edwin Njoroge, the KEMSA acting chief executive officer, appeared before the Joint Senate Committee on Friday. The lawmakers, agitated by the turn of events, refused to engage with Njoroge.
For now, it is unanimous that this meeting cannot proceed. The person we need to interrogate is Dr. Jonah Manjari, and he's not present here today.
When somebody is summoned, he must appear in person. He can have his lawyers who come with him, no harm. But he must appear to be able to answer those queries in person.
Senators dismissed a letter written by one Dr. John Ngugi indicating that Manjari had been admitted to a city hospital.
I thought yesterday we were told by the Secretariat that the CEO was consulting with the board. So at what point did he fall sick for him to be able? Do we have any evidence that he's actually admitted in a hospital in Kenya?
Through the chair, I only got a message this morning from Dr. Manjari. That is all I know.
I think the best thing, he should come out clear. Is he admitted? Where? Which ward? Even if it's a document, is it stamped? At what time was he admitted? And what status? What is he going through? Chair, this is a joke.
Last week, KEMSA board suspended Manjari, Commercial Director Eliud Mureithi, and Procurement Director Charles Juma to pave way for a probe on COVID-19 supplies procurement.
This matter is serious, and if somebody wants to just come here and hire high-profile lawyers. I keep on saying this again and again, so that they can loot and run away with it. That's not going to happen this time.
KEMSA has been in the spotlight after it emerged that a section of its management dished out tenders to mysterious companies under the guise of the COVID-19 pandemic. The cash-strapped Medical Supplies Authority is also under scrutiny by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over alleged runaway graft involving top officials on the board. The joint committee that brings together the Senate's Sessional Committee on Health and the Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19 situation in Kenya says that it has to get to the bottom of the allegations at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabasa.
Moving on, President Uhuru Kenyatta has warned leaders against fueling land disputes among Kenyans. The president says issuance of title deeds to individuals who has for the longest time been derailed due to leadership wrangles that in turn frustrate Kenyans. President Uhuru Kenyatta, who on Friday issued 38,000 title deeds to individuals, among them 30,000 from highly contagious Embakasi ranching company, has vowed to ensure Kenyans get their constitutional right of owning land.
Although a bit frail due to old age, Joseph Kagai Gashenga nevertheless availed himself at the Kenyatta International Convention Center to receive his title deed. Gashenga says he got his parcel of land through shares in 1979.
Nilikuwa members wa kwanza kwa kununua hiyo shamba. Na kutoka wakati huu mpaka wa leo tukiwa tumemengoja ndio tumepata shamba.
He is one of 30,000 individuals from Embakasi Ranching Company who have endured a long battle to land ownership.
Nilikuwa kijana na leo mimi ni mzee, nimezeeka tukibwata hiyo shamba.
Gitu Wakahengeri, one of Kenya's freedom fighters who also got his title deed today, says the struggle to obtain the crucial document is draining.
Wale tulianzisha kununua shamba hili, wengi wao wamekwisha kufa. Lakini wewe unawapa titles ile tunaita posthumously.
Gashenga and Kahengeri's stories of pain is shared by many, one that is replicated in many parts of the country.
Ni kutembea, tunaambiwa tu rudi leo, rudi kesho. Kwa hivyo tumesumbuka sana kuzitafuta.
Nasikia mzuri. Hii ndio nilikuwa nafuatilia na imetoka leo. Na imepatiwa na president mwenyewe. Nimesema asante sana. Hata nikamweleza asante sana saa.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, who on Friday oversaw the issuance of 38,000 title deeds to individuals from Embakasi Ranching Company, Tasia, Korogosho and Mbagathi River, called on leaders to play a proactive role in solving land disputes.
Wengi ambao tunaongea juu yao wamegojea vile waziri amesema zaidi ya miaka 50, lakini kwa sababu ya mizozo na haswa mizozo ya viongozi, hii shughuli haijaweza kutimika, lakini leo tuatimiza.
President Kenyatta vowed to end land injustices in the country, warning leaders against fueling land wrangles.
Tukitoa siasa na mgogoro wa uongozi na tukijiuliza ni nini ambaye tunatafuta. Tunatafuta haki ya yule ambaye anastahili kumiliki hiyo shamba.
The head of state assured the beneficiaries of government's support, urging them to freely develop their pieces of lands for economic gain.
Sasa ni mujenge bila kuogopa ambapo ati kesho utakuja kufukuzwa. Hakuna mtu anakuja kukufukuza. Mujenge.
Land is one of the most valuable resources to many, and with land issues remaining to be emotive, the issuance of title deeds today is a reprieve to many, with some having waited for over 40 years. Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kamche, for that report. And men in the country are at a greater risk from the COVID-19 disease as Kenya's coronavirus cases hit 31,763 with 322 new cases reported in the last 24 hours. The Minister of Health Friday said that out of the cases, 20,236 are men, accounting for 63% of the total confirmed cases. During a similar period, 16 more patients succumbed to COVID-19, bringing the death toll from coronavirus to 532. As the coronavirus continues to cause havoc across the country, emerging statistics from the Ministry of Health indicate that more men are at a risk of contracting the disease and even dying from it.
The male population continues to be the one that is greatly afflicted. To date, in terms of cumulative count, we have about 20,236 males affected and about 11,205 females. Our male population again continues to be greatly afflicted when it comes to fatality, with about 386 of them being male.
The Ministry of Health has further revealed that over 10,283 cases, which is about 33%, are among Kenyans in the age group of 30 to 39 years.
If you're living in Nairobi and Mombasa, you're at greater risk of transmission, of getting this disease. Nairobi stands at a very high attack rate of about 420% per 100,000 population, whereas Mombasa stands at about 187. The national average, when we compute, looking at all our counties in the country, stands at about 66 per 100,000 population.
16 more patients succumbed to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours as the caseload rose to 31,763 after 322 people tested positive, and the death toll from coronavirus has now risen to 532, with fatality rate at 1.6%.
We have 288 patients who've recovered from the disease, of which 190 are from the home-based care program, whereas 98 have been discharged from various hospitals. Our total recoveries stand at 18,157.
All the 47 counties have reported cases, with Nairobi bearing the most burden at 18,594, followed by Kiambu County with 2,358. Mombasa comes in third with 2,271, and Kajiado is fourth with 1,780. Machakos has 1,150 cases, Busia 958, Nakuru 738, Uasin Gishu 435, Migori has 385, while Nyeri has 232 cases. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health is urging health workers to end the ongoing strike and resume talks with the government to resolve the stalemate.
Yes, there are discussions underway. As early as last night, we continued to have discussions with members of the union and healthcare workers, impressing upon them that perhaps now is a critical time to be mzalendo and ensure that we are taking care of our country, but also hearing their needs and their concerns that they have and coming to a place where we can be able to meet those needs.
You're watching Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night at Marco Dongo. You tuned in from Kitengela, and then William Mamburi on Twitter, you're saying you're watching from Watamu in Kilifi County. Wiki Kibet, you tuned in from Leiten, Kericho County. JM Mteti, you're saying that you're tuned in to Channel 1 Weekend. Caleb Arab Kosgei, watching from Kericho County. Keep talking to us at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag to use tonight is Channel 1 Weekend. Channel 1 Weekend takes its first commercial break. Don't go too far. Still plenty more to come. Stay with us.
Me. What is going on? Swimming inside my drum.
Let me play me.
I cling to you.
And you alone.
Selena. You know we too fly for this. Trust me. You seem like a good kid. You know we too fly for this.
We're gonna blow everybody away.
What about every night is a ladies' night?
Do you know how many things I have to do?
We're just getting started.
You know this is how I act. I'm excited.
Wow. Get and stay connected to GoTV for all the tips you need to live your best life from our GoTV queens. GoTV, live it, love it.
With 90% of its revenue coming from the world's famous Masai Mara National Reserve, Narok County was badly hit when COVID-19 took a toll on tourism. The lifting of movement restrictions across the country was thus a welcome relief for Narok, even though on the flip side, the country saw an increase in coronavirus infections. Join Purity Museo this Sunday, August 23rd at 9 p.m. on the Family Matters show as she engages Narok Governor Samuel Tunai on the county's COVID-19 mitigation measures. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Where can bullets go?
You thinking about that bullet that came through your window?
What's wrong? You alright?
I am angry all the time, and I don't know why.
Hands in plain sight, step out of the vehicle. Honey, stay inside. Man, don't walk up on me. I know this man. Get back.
You think you know who you are? You have no idea.
You had a conversation with God, huh? What did God say?
I didn't ask for your help, did I?
It's okay, Daddy. I'll protect you.
It's the sense of touch. I think we miss that touch so much that we crash into each other just so we can feel something.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. The bodies of 4 members of the same family were laid to rest in Emasinga village in Kakamega County under tight security. The 4 died in retaliatory attacks following the death of a middle-aged man in the suspected land row. No family member was allowed to attend the funeral, with police allowing only 6 villagers to bury the bodies.
The bodies of John Opondo, his 2 children, and that of a neighboring family member were finally buried under the tight watch of police officers. The burial ceremony, which was conducted by a local Catholic church, was attended by only 6 mourners, including the area member of County Assembly, with friends and relatives locked out. A week ago, Ernest Ndege Opondo had been killed by unknown people over a suspected land row in what became the basis of the demise of the 4 family members.
Tukitoka hapa sisi tumemaliza mambo ya mazishi. Hatungependa mtu mwingine tena rudi nyuma kuleta vurugu ili tena turejee hapa kwa mambo mengine.
Tunasema tumepoteza watu wengi, tena tumepoteza principle. Hatutaki kitu kama hii irudie kwa hii uko yetu. Iende kabisa.
Uongoze na hasa muna atupe hekima ya kujua.
Navaholo OCPD Jacob Chelimo, who led his officers in providing security during the burial, called on residents to maintain peace.
Ningeomba tu watu wa sehemu hii watumisha amani, na sisi kwa maafisa wa usalama tutaendelea kuweka doria katika area hii mpaka usalama urejee kabisa.
The burial took a record time of less than half an hour.
And Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has promised to be in the ballot in 2022. Speaking in Machakos, Kalonzo said he is wiser now, having been let down twice, vowing to forge an alliance with like-minded parties for the top seat.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka is accusing his close allies for failure to find a better winning formula in the last 2 general elections, causing him political humiliation.
I want to see leaders now speaking. Leaders speak.
Leaders speak. Leaders speak. Mudhama mutavioneza utongoi. You're not given na upatiwe namna hii. You grab it. You go for it. He tried. He had his good intentions. And the answer is where we are today.
The Wiper Party leader insisting that he is now wise in politics of the land, hence any party ready to work with him should be willing to support his presidential bid.
He says negotiate with everybody. But as we negotiate, there are certain irreducible minimums. The irreducible minimum. Kiune kizungu serious. You don't irreducible minimum Kalonzo 11 in 2022.
Kalonzo stood on the same podium with his close ally turned foe, the former Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama, who claimed he broke ranks with the former VP for the larger good of the Kamba community.
Tumekataa katakata, hakuna Mkamba atanyanyaswa, come what may.
Muthama poking holes into Kalonzo's ambitions, insisting that he must collaborate with other communities for him to succeed. Meanwhile, the Orange Democratic Movement Homa Bay branch has suspended all officials who supported other parties or vied using other party tickets.
Anybody who supported even an independent, even if you didn't resign and you didn't support a party candidate, the position is you are just a member and your position is going to be failed.
The party insisting that it will not tolerate errant officials and discipline is key if ODM is to remain intact.
No stranger should imagine that they can raid this base through some few conmen and political brokers. Those ones have gone to eat, they are allowed to eat, but in Homa Bay County, ODM remains strong and formidable.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Interesting times where politicians are now going about their rallies, putting on the masks, COVID-19 and politics. We'll see how that unfolds. The judiciary will establish a small claims court in Murang'a County to ease the backlog of cases. Chief Justice David Maraga says the court will facilitate fast resolution of cases to ensure small-scale traders resume their businesses within a short time after the cases are concluded. Maraga, who together with Murang'a County Governor Mwangi wa Iria commissioned a modern block at Kangema Law Courts, said the judiciary is also putting in place modalities to facilitate alternative dispute resolution for land succession cases. The judiciary will also establish a magistrates court at Kenol Town in Maragua sub-county, as well as construct a medium-level prison, a police station and a directorate of public prosecutions offices to ease the pressure of the existing courts.
Suluhishe hiyo makesi upesi iwezekanavyo. Ukienda kotini leo utaambiwa rudi mwezi ujao. Mbali sana, rudi mwezi ujao, na ukienda siku hiyo kesi unaenda huko siku hiyo kesi hiyo inasikizwa na kumalizika.
We have so many Lagos allowed land, and mainly on the subject of succession. Very small matters which can be sorted out on the ground using very basic systems and infrastructures in resolving them. But those are some of the cases which really affect most of our people.
A 95-year-old man in Murang'a County has defied his old age to keep his career rolling. Duncan Kuru Karathe is not done yet, and has just decided to keep his surveying career active until his very last days. Take a look.
Born in 1926 in Virikwa village of Kangema constituency, Murang'a County, Duncan Kuru Karathe grew up just like any other village boy, with hopes of a bright future. Education was not rampant those days, but upon reaching 14 years, Kuru will ask his father to take him to school, but his request fell on deaf ears. Consequently, Kuru would escape from home to seek employment in a coffee plantation in Kiambu County, where he was employed for just 5 shillings a month. After 4 years, he felt he had saved enough for his school fees and went to stay with his aunt, where he was enrolled in school. After school, Kuru was employed as a court clerk in 1950s, and it is here that his surveying career kick-started.
Mimi nilianzia kazi yangu 1951 nikiwa karani
katika Kahuya Intermediate School. Nilifanya kazi huko kama miaka 3, na wakati wa emergency nitoka huku nikaenda Kangima, nikaajiriwa kama karani wa koti. Wakati huo kulikuwa na ilikuwa tribunal court, kulikuwa na wazee 6 na makarani 2, na mimi nilikuwa upande wa karani wa kuweka pesa nini, kuangalia kila kitu upande wa pesa. On the other hand, nilikuwa nikisaidiana na karani wa judgment. So yote nilikuwa nikifanya tukisaidiana.
After 30 years of service, Kuru retired and retreated back to his home in Thirikwa village, where he ventured into farming. Despite being successful also in farming, Mudhara Withi, as he is fondly called in his village, did not let die of his survey profession, which he still practices to date. Kuru was married to 2 wives, both named Jane, and he will jokingly address them as Jane 1 and Jane 2. Unfortunately, Jane 1 passed away in 2015.
Baada ya kuretire 1987, mimi niko hapa nyumbani. Kazi yangu ni kulisha ng'ombe na kahawa, na hata mandizi ninayo. Kwa hivyo wakati mwingine kuna watu wengine wananiita, naenda kuwapimia mashamba kwa sababu niko na kila kitu ya kupima. Niko na scale, niko na maps, bora nipate map kutoka kwa mwenzake.
We visited him on a cold day at his home in Thirikwa village, where the surviving Jane was busy preparing breakfast for him. Here, he took us through a bit of the process of surveying a piece of land and how boundaries are well marked and established. Kuru says surveying profession has its fair share of challenges, just like other professions.
Sio rahisi, ni lazima kujikaza, kwa sababu wakati mwingine wanaweza kukuta watu wale wanaenda kuwapimia shamba. Kuna wengine wanataka kupimiwa, kuna jirani hawataki, kama ni ndugu moja, baba yao anataka kuwagawia 2 watatu. Wakisikia kuna msichana pengine atapewa shamba, wanakataa. Lakini wakati huo tunajaribu kuwasawishi mpaka tukaelewana. Wakishinda, tunawasha kwanza, wanaambia wangoje waende hata kama wasafi kama mwingine, kwa sababu wakati mwingine tushinda hiyo tunarekebisha.
Regardless, Kuru is challenging the current crop of surveyors to remain steadfast and diligent to overcome the challenges in the profession.
Maombi yangu kwa watu wa siku hizi, kwa sababu ni vijana wamesoma, wanasema wajua kazi sana, na kweli wanajua kwa sababu wamesomea, lakini kwa vile mashamba ni magumu, sio kitu rahisi, lazima mtu ajichunge na ajaribu kufanya kazi kwa makini. Ndio hata ukifanyia watu kesho, mtu anakuita, unamfanyia kazi kama aliona umefanya kazi kwa fulani na fulani na umefanya kazi mzuri. Kwa hivyo ningeomba wawe watulivu na wawe waaminifu, na Mungu atawasaidia.
He actually looks so energetic, and he says no to retirement because he's not done yet with his service to the nation. Okay, what's your take on that? The rate of sexual and gender-based violence and teenage pregnancies in the country has hit an alarming proportion, with various lobby groups calling for action now. According to a non-governmental organization, Roots Kenya, the situation on the ground is worrying, and it was time the country engages in a sober debate to tame the vices tearing setup of family apart.
Reports by Roots Kenya, a non-governmental organization involved in tracking gender-based violence, indicates that Kiambu County, for example, recorded the highest rate of violence in the month of April. In May alone, the report further says Nairobi County reported 94 cases, followed by Kisumu with 58, and Homa Bay 25 cases. Mary Kinuthia from Roots Kenya says the situation on the ground is that of a grim picture, with the future looking so gloomy, mainly for women and girls who bear the biggest brand.
A study undertaken by the Ministry of Health and Population Council in 2020 April on COVID-19 knowledge, attitudes, practices, and needs showed at least 2,350 women and girls across the country in need of shelters and safe houses for protection from GBV and FGM.
Kinuthia said the coronavirus pandemic has provided fodder for groups that want to return the country to the archaic past of outdated practices like female genital mutilation, propelling sexual and gender-based violence.
Early this year, GBV responders reported the emergency of a group in Duberi, Guatadai, that purport to promote restoration of Kikuyu culture and traditions, among them female genital mutilation or cutting. The group is reported to use economic and political enticements to woo women and girls to consent to mutilate their own bodies. Such actions are demonic, evil, illegal, and totally unacceptable.
The group says many actors have come on board to support victims, and the government must act firm by ensuring the vulnerable are protected.
So you will realize there are so many cases of violations. Women and even boys and men are being violated. But because it is so heavy on you to be able to go and explain, then it is a challenge.
Imeenda kwa government printer. It is now accepted in the floor of the House once it is printed. We shall debate it on the floor of the House.
The current COVID-19 pandemic has taken a major toll on many people. Even those who have not become sick have felt the burden of needing to quickly adjust to demands of the new normal. For women living in poverty, COVID-19 has made it more difficult to purchase critical necessities such as food and medicine. We bring you the story of Evelyn Kwamboka, a mother of 3 who has been going through a very difficult time amid the global health crisis, to the extent that she claims that contemplating killing her children.
When the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in the country in March this year, many Kenyans did not expect or even imagine what the impact of the deadly virus will be. On the outskirts of Narok town, near Masai Mara University, we meet Evelyn Kwamboka, who has been going through very difficult times, including mental health challenges.
Sasa nilikuwa naamua hata ili basi nikunywe dawa ama ili niuse huyo mtoto nipate nafasi ya kutafuta vibarua huyu mwingine asome.
Her eyes red and swollen, we quickly learned Kwamboka, who gave birth to her youngest child 2 days prior to our visit, had been crying before we came in. According to Evelyn, her problem started in Naivasha when her husband became abusive to the extent that she could bear it no more, and moved to Narok town with her 2 young daughters to start new life.
Huyo msaya alikuwa ananipiga, alikuwa anashughulikia watoto, alikuwa akikunywa pombe. Kazi yake ilikuwa ni vita tu. Hata kutafuta pesa ya chakula alikuwa anaesa. Mimi tu ndio naenda kungangana kwa mashamba ya watu, vibarua kulima, kutafuta chakula, na yeye anataka hiyo chakula akule.
It is while doing manual jobs in Narok that she met a man who is the father of her 3rd child. However, at the advent of coronavirus pandemic, her new husband vanished, leaving her struggling with the pregnancy and providing for her 2 children.
Kufika hospitali nikapimwa, kasemekana niko na mimba. Kurudi nikampea hiyo report. Sikia vile nimeambiwa huko hospitali. Akaniambia wacha kwanza iko kasi naenda huko msituni. Nitakuja nione vile tutafanya. Sasa mimi hakunieleza ndani kama ni kwenda anaenda ama ni kutoroka anatoroka. Sasa alienda tu hivyo. Akatuacha tu hivyo. Mimi nikateseka, nikakosa pesa.
After being thrown out of her rented house, she met a good Samaritan, Teresa Bosire, who gave her a place to call home.
Nikampatia na kile nilikuwa najo, nikampa. Na nikaanza tu hata nikipika chakula kama githeri ama ninapika ile ninasema hii ni yenye tutakula kama ni familia.
Teresa is now calling on the government in conjunction with other stakeholders to come up with a lasting solution to help millions of Kenyans, especially widows and single mothers, adversely affected by the pandemic. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Remember, we are live on all our social media platforms on Facebook and Twitter. You can also stream live via our website, www.kbc.co.ke, and I'll be going through your feedback during this broadcast. In other news, Rift Valley Regional Coordinator George Natembeya has revised curfew time in the clash-hit area of Nkaroro in Narok County from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The new curfew time will now begin from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Speaking while in an inspection tour of Kilgoris, Emuria Diki Road, Mogondo and Alchobose roads, Natembeya said the level of security status in the area will determine the lifting of the curfew. This even as he said that security officers on the ground will remain in the area until calm is restored.
Kumaanisha kwamba ile magari ambayo yanabeba mizigo mizito itakani kutumia hizi barabara. Ile challenge ambayo tuko nayo hapa ambayo tumekubaliana kwenda kwa address ni kwamba kuna magari ambayo yanabeba miwa kupeleka pale kwa factory inatumia hii barabara. Mimi kwamba inaweza kuharibika haraka sana.
In another development, a section of Maasai elders from Suswa in Narok County staged a peaceful demonstration to oppose what they claimed as forceful eviction from the ancestral land in the expansive Kedong ranch by certain powerful individuals. The elders claim their cry for justice has been ignored by the government for years, calling for quick intervention by the relevant authorities to save their land from the unscrupulous individuals.
Tunaomba serikali yetu ya kwamba Raila alisema walielewana na rais, lakini ajabu ni kwamba na wakasema hatutahama, hakuna mtaro tutachimba tena, hakuna fence tutachimba tena, lakini ajabu tunaona kwamba bado mtaro inaendelea, bado fence inaendelea, na tunaogopa kwamba yatakayofuata hiyo ni sisi kufukuzwa kwa shamba ya Kidong.
Elsewhere, Kiambu County government is set to complete some of the stalled hospital projects in a bid to decongest Kiambu and Thika level 5 hospitals following an upsurge of patients coming from the neighboring counties like Nairobi City County, Machakos and Kajiado counties. Speaking while visiting Githunguri and Gegania health facilities in Kiambu County, Area Governor James Nyoro said his government plans to complete the stalled hospitals within 1.5 years.
We are in the process of completing Rukuma, and as you probably know, they are now having a theater, and they have even started operating patients. But that is in the old wing. In the new wing, over the next 4 or 5 months, we should be completing that one.
And project management committees in Siaya are up in arms with the county government, accusing it of colluding with unscrupulous contractors to pay for shoddy jobs. According to members of the various committees, corrupt county government officials have been overlooking their roles and end up coming up with unrealistic minutes, alleging that they had okayed works for the contractors to be paid.
The only meeting that they called was on the first day we were formed. We came to site, hand over the site to the contractor. Thereafter, they never called any formal meeting for us to come and attend and issue our views.
In the meantime, Kenya Youth Empowerment and Opportunities Project has injected 16 million shillings grant that has benefited over 1,700 jobless youth in Kitui County. KYEOP National Project Coordinator Olivia Ouko said another set of 400 youth have been trained on starting up their businesses in the country and 414 master craftsmen.
Remember, this project is in 17 counties. So 400 young people have benefited from grants from Kitui County. If you calculate that, 400 times 40,000, that's 16 million Kenya shillings.
Finally, the Interfaith Council in Baringo has come out strongly to condemn the alleged loss of billions in COVID-19 funds meant to fight the coronavirus pandemic. Led by Baringo SUPKEM Chair Abubakar Bilal and Bishop Daniel Chemon, the council who held a meeting at Kabarnet urged the government to leave no stone unturned and bring to book the alleged beneficiaries.
Tunakemea kitendo kama hicho kwa kemeo la juu kabisa, na tunaomba asasi za serikali zile zinahusika na uchunguzi wafanye haraka kuchunguza wote waliohusika, na wakati huu hatutaki kusikia watu ku step aside.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
In the world news, Mali's Finance Minister Abdoulaye Daffé and another top official have been released by the military junta that ousted President Ibrahim Keita. Elsewhere, Russian doctors say leading opposition figure Alexei Navalny remains too ill to be transferred to Germany for treatment after possible poisoning. On Thursday, this and more. Let's go global.
Mali's coup on Tuesday was cheered at home but has upset neighbors. Crowds joined after a group of colonels seized power in Mali, a vast country stretching into the Sahara, but not everyone is happy. West African leaders have continued to call for President Keita to be reinstated immediately. Mali's Finance Minister Abdoulaye Daffé and another top officials have been released. The minister was among those detained after the military coup on Tuesday. In the meantime, the military junta has announced that a transitional president will be appointed, drawn from either the civilian population or the military. The coup leaders say they are in contact with the political opposition and other groups to try and set up a transition in place. They say elections will be held in what they describe as a reasonable time, and have also promised to respect international agreements on fighting jihadists. Elsewhere, Russian doctors say leading opposition figure Alexei Navalny remains too ill to be transferred to Germany for treatment after a possible poisoning. They have cited a report of a deadly substance dangerous not only to Navalny but to all around him. Navalny has been in a coma since Thursday when he fell ill on a flight, and his supporters called doctors. However, a doctor now says no poisons have been detected by the tests. Navalny is a prominent critic of Russian President Vladimir Putin. His team suspects a poisonous substance was put in his tea at an airport Kiev. Activists in Germany have sent a plane to bring Navalny to Berlin for treatment. And in Belarus, opposition leader Selena Tikhanovskaya has urged her supporters to step up their strikes despite intimidation from authorities. Allies of Tikhanovskaya on the new Opposition Coordination Council have been summoned to Belarus Investigative Committee and are accused of an illegal power grab. In a new video address from exile in neighboring Lithuania, she urged her supporters to continue and expand the strikes. Finally, in the United States of America, Democratic White House nominee Joe Biden says President Donald Trump has clocked America into darkness for too much long. Biden, 77, heads into the general election campaign with a clear lead in opinion polls over Trump, 77. But with 75 days to go into the election, the Republican president has plenty of time to narrow the gap. Ruth Wamboi for Channel 1 Weekend.
We now take a second commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Sports news is up next.
Next on.
Sometimes I think that I didn't know how to handle things in the beginning. These days, there are so many more things that are getting out of my hands.
Is that lowlife going to live here? What a nasty place. Fabiola's out of her mind. How can she be the girlfriend of a guy like him?
I never thought the day would come when I would have to tell Jorge that he isn't my son.
In love with Ramon. Next on.
Mwongelesha furahia nikimwambianga tafadhali peleka huyu mtoto hospitali, lakini shida si kupeleka mtoto hospitali, shida ni pesa. Juu hospitali pia unailipia pesa, dawa pia unanunua. Yes, dawa zao ziko cheap, lakini kama huna hata 10 hauwezi pewa.
And around 3 to 4 years, that's when it was confirmed I am deaf. And my parents took me to a hearing school, interestingly, but I couldn't hear anything.
Differently abled, differently.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I came to the house at around 5:30 in the morning. I was so tired, I just went to sleep. Few minutes later, she woke up and poured sulfuric acid on my face and ran away. So I woke up to try and get some water to reduce the burns. But when I stepped on the floor, I felt a shock. She had connected electricity, the heater, and poured water on the floor. So the current was flowing. So when I stepped on that floor, I felt a shock and I became even more confused. So I screamed and my colleagues came for my rescue. They took me out of the house and I was rushed to the hospital.
Weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Nimekuja leo kwa sababu ile simu ile uniambia nipeleke mtoto wako. Nipelekea mtoto wako.
Una hakika?
Niko na uhakika na kazi yangu bwana.
Okay, sawa, kwa sababu sasa nataka tuanze kazi. Ondoka. Kuna kijana yule mwekundu hivi sijui shombe. Alizungumza masuala ya shamba. Alafu akamuita kando akaenda akamna kama ambaye pengine ataka
kabla haya mambo nayo hayo tu bila shaka.
Haya ngoja namuita sasa hivi.
On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
Don't you dare, Gonzalo. Believe me, I won't hesitate to pull the trigger. Pilar!
Holy Mother of God, what was that, a gunshot?
She's not there. She's disappeared. Who? Raquel.
You say it was posted on the website for the Bar Association? Delinquent.
I once read that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. That's exactly what Gonzalo Ibanez did.
Right, let's first have business news. The transformation of the Agricultural Finance Corporation into a fully fledged commercial bank is likely to face delays due to legislative and institutional processes. Board Chairperson Franklin Bett says groundworks for the transformation is yet to start, with the process requiring relevant legislations and permits from relevant authorities before it is initiated.
The government envisaged the transformation of the Agriculture Finance Corporation to a commercial bank in the model of agriculture banks in India, Malaysia, and China. The transformation, which was said to be actualized in its short-term strategy, is likely to be delayed since the groundwork is yet to start. To become a fully fledged commercial bank, Board Chairman Franklin Bett says crucial policies and laws should be enacted.
That will require a lot of movements, including changing the law. So I think we are yet to do all that. So I can't say we are going to be an agricultural bank tomorrow. No, because we have got to go through the law.
In addition, he said the parastatal requires injection of requisite capital to compete in the financial service sector.
It's our desire to transform AFC into an agricultural development bank. This will see the institution serve agriculture value chain players much better than with the way we are today and fulfill its role in stimulating investment through agriculture.
The Agriculture Finance Corporation is in talks with the Arab Bank of Economic Development in Africa to offer it a Sharia-compliant facility as it seeks to diversify its product portfolio.
AFC has got branches across the country. And when I say across the country, it means even in those areas where Islamic faith is predominant.
The African Development Bank has offered 1.9 billion shillings for onward lending to agricultural ventures by the youth.
Food security in our country is one of the 4 pillars of the president's legacy. And the Agricultural Finance Corporation, which we have joined, the core mandate is to assist farmers to produce more food.
The funding, which also comprises of another 1.2 billion shillings by USAID for crops and livestock market system, is expected to de-risk agriculture. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Kenya Airways has been instrumental in linking the United Arab Emirates and the African continent, especially during this COVID-19 period, helping transport stranded Africans to various destinations across Africa. Kenya Airways manager in Dubai, Joseph Munyeti, says that he is optimistic that the national carrier will soon resume normal operations as more countries continue reopening their airspace after COVID-19 restrictions.
You'll see the flight is actually fully booked, and that has been the case from 1st of August, and it is promising because at the start we thought maybe after the first week the traffic will dry up, but that has not been the case. Kenya alone has got more than 40,000 Kenyans resident in the UAE. They may not all plan to travel at once because there are those who are also working like me here. But there are those, some of them who have lost their jobs, others that come here for a visit and try their luck to get employment. And when their time came to travel, there were no flights.
Elsewhere, rehabilitation of the 78-kilometer Gilgil-Nyahururu railway has started with the 500 million shillings project expected to be complete in 4 months. Once complete, the railway is expected to ease movement of goods in Nyandarua, Laikipia and Samburu.
In efforts geared towards opening up interior parts of the country for investments, the government has started rehabilitating the old meter gauge railway line in the country. As part of the exercise, rehabilitation of the 78-kilometer Gilgil-Nyahururu railway line has started and is estimated to cost $500 million shillings.
The line from Kuru to Kisumu, we have completed the rehabilitation of Thika Nanyuki line. We are carrying out rehabilitation works from Longonot all the way to Maraba, and we are doing a new line from ICD Naivasha to Longonot to connect the meter gauge. That process is going on as we talk.
The railway, which is set for completion in December after being dormant for 30 years, is expected to spur livestock production in Laikipia and Samburu counties by linking pastoralists with the ready market.
The revival of this line, the traders bordering the railway corridor transported their farm produce and other forms of cargo to and from the parts of Kenya.
The railway line is also expected to help Nyandarua farmers access market for their agricultural produce, as they are currently grappling with poor road network.
So the railway is coming as a partner to empower the people of Nyandarua, so nobody is going to be evicted, ama kusumbuliwa, ama kutolewa, and I'm sure the MD will reiterate this.
Tumika na kubeba ng'ombe, ngulue, ngano, yote ilikuwa nabebea na vitia kwa reli. Hata barabara zetu siku ile kwa haliharibiki. Lakini sasa unaona ukienda kidogo ni mashimo tu. Kwa kuwa usito yote ilirudishwa kwa barabara.
Grateful when some of us growing up as small babies, mama alikuwa anatuambia muweke hiyo githeri pale kwa jiko, mkiona train imetoka Gilgil inaenda Nyahururu, msiweke before then.
The rehabilitation exercise comes barely a month after the launch of the 3 billion shillings Nairobi-Nyanyuki railway line. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Yeah!
Ngimache kekas kabwatutikuk, ngimache iyat muguleldang'ung, ngimache imong'ugei, nyangebe kiputinai. Lale, kimi kibagenge, Kitwek FM kikosin, Kitwek FM kikosin, Kitwek FM kikosin.
98.0 Kitwek FM Kegosin.
Time for sports news. Kenyan Premier League side Wazito FC has confirmed the signing of former AFC Leopards midfielder Jackson Juma for an undisclosed fee. The player becomes the 7th signing after arrival of Kevin Chamsi Okumu from Nairobi City Stars, Vincent Oburu, Marco Tieno, Kevin Kimani, Boniface Omondi and Edwin Omondi.
But Nganga is the man who started the scores here.
Wazito FC, which finished in the 13th position on the Kenyan Premier League table last season, has embarked on bolstering his squad after sacking 11 players last month. Youngster Kevin Chumsi Okumu joins the club after playing for newly promoted side Nairobi City Stars.
Imekuwa timu nimewaitamani kutoka kitambo na ndo nimeamua kumekio move. So expectations zangu kwa fans na management, naweza sema nimekuja hapa ku fight for position.
The club has so far signed midfielder Edwin Clifford Euro Omondi from Western Stima. Omondi previously played for Gor Mahia Youth, Palos FC and Chemelil Sugar. Kevin Kimani is another signing after he joined the club from Mathare United. He previously played for KCB, Tusker FC, Sofapaka and Mathare United and held professional stints in Belgium, Greece, South Africa and Saudi Arabia. Frederick Moki for Channel 1 Sports.
Moving on, the Kenya Hockey Union, KHU, will start a program to develop the national hockey sport system funded by Olympic Solidarity through the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC. The program will run for 3 months and will involve coaches, technical officials and players from all over the country. It will be conducted by an expert from Pakistan, Tahiz Zaman, who is also an International Hockey Federation trainer and educator. According to KHU, the program is aimed at improving the national system of hockey development and build up a sustainable grassroots base. The specific objectives will be to increase the number of young athletes who can compete in continental and international events and therefore introduce more competition for young players. English Premier League side Chelsea have completed the signing of Dutch defender Xavi Mbuyamba on a free transfer. The Blues have seen off competition from a host of clubs to land the former Barcelona defender. Chelsea has awarded a 3-year contract to Mbuyamba, who has been on the club's radar since making his senior debut for MVV Maastricht in the second tier of Dutch football at the age of 16. Stamford Bridge officials attempted to secure his signature last summer but were beaten by Barcelona as a result of their transfer ban. Chelsea's transfer ban meant Frank Lampard that had to use a number of young players last season. That brings us to the end of Channel 1 Weekend this Friday night. It's always great to have you company. Alexis, you are tuned in. You're saying you're watching Channel 1 Weekend. Thank you so much. Edwinata, you're saying that you are watching Channel 1 Weekend. Thank you so much, Ben Mark, also for tuning in. And quickly, if I go through your feedback on our Facebook page, Stephen Smart Boy, you're saying you're watching from Ruaka in Nairobi. Judy K tuned in from Roysambu, and Saidi Peter from Malaba Border, Teso, Austin Odor, Migori County, the county of choice. All right, Joshua Monguru, you're also tuned in from Kisii County. That's where we wrap it up. And tonight, Europa League final plays tonight. And of course, we have Sevilla against Inter Milan, and that match beginning at exactly 10 p.m. East African time. Thank you once again for tuning in. My name is Purity Museo. Simon Karodha has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Up next is weather forecast. Stay tuned for that, and good night.
If the satellite image is anything to go by, then the county of Nairobi will, for the next 7 days, experience occasional cold weather conditions, and thus we should take precautionary measures. As they say, prevention is better than cure. Why not? Thank you for your time. A very warm welcome to Channel 1 Weather Updates. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. There are scattered wet conditions over a few places in the capital and northwestern parts of the country. The Lake Basin region is experiencing showers accompanied by thunderstorms. This, as the rest of the country has been covered with partly cloudy conditions. And that is how the night will be. Tomorrow, it will rain again in the capital during the morning hours. Similar weather conditions will dominate the county of Nyeri as well as the county of Meru. These will later on give way to sunny intervals. The northeastern parts of the country will mainly experience sunny conditions during the morning hours. There will be scattered wet conditions in Mombasa and Malindi, but the county of Lamu will mainly be sunny during the morning hours. Residents in Machakos, Makindu, Voi, and its environs, the morning will be cool and cloudy with cold weather conditions dominating the better part of the morning hours. The Lake Basin region will mainly experience sunny conditions, but it will rain in Kitale, Eldoret, and Kakamega areas. The northwestern parts of the country will mainly be sunny, and this will change during the afternoon hours. There will be showers accompanied by thunderstorms in West Pokot. In the northeastern parts of the country, the county of Garissa and Wajir will experience showers accompanied by thunderstorms during the afternoon hours. Wet conditions will continue at the coastal strip, and similar weather conditions will also dominate few areas in the county of Nairobi as well as the counties of Meru and Nyeri. Let's have a look at how temperatures will be tomorrow, and this is it. Mandera and Lodwar will maintain the highest temperatures across the country at 35 degrees Celsius. Temperatures have gone slightly up in the capital. Expect highs of 23 degrees Celsius, and thus we should keep ourselves warm as much as temperatures have slightly gone up in Nairobi. Cold weather conditions will prevail. And on that note, let's have a look at the international forecast. Do have a good night, and let's do this again tomorrow, God willing.